Bhajagovindam chanting, verses 6 to 10.
यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायुः देहापाये भार्या बिभ्रति तस्मिन् काये बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य त्वं कः कुतायातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वम् निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारो ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम्। In this poem, Pineapple and the Bee, William Cooper's poem is a beautiful one. He concludes that poem with a fantastic message. It says, "Our dear delights are often such, exposed to view but not to touch. The sight our foolish heart inflames, we long for pineapples in frames." Says, superb one. Says, the things which are very interesting in our life, what we really want in life, are exposed to our sight. It's just in front of us. But the problem is what, sir? Says, we long for pineapples inside the frame. It is inside the frame. So what to do? He says, with hopeless wish one looks and lingers, breaks the glass and cuts his fingers. Another fellow. One fellow with hopeless wish looks and lingers. This is not for us. It's too big for us. That's called, hopeless wish. Meaning window shopping. What he says is window shopping. We will go for window shopping. Just see and come back. That's it. Then we have another group who breaks the glass and cuts his fingers. He breaks the glass. He breaks the rules. He breaks the law. He breaks the principles. He breaks all those things. And in the process of breaking, it damages himself. The damage can be physical, the damage can be psychological. It doesn't make any difference, but there is a damage, there is a dent. Then he says there is a third party. Says, but they whom truth and wisdom lead can gather honey from a weed. So those who live a life of wisdom and truth, Satyam and Dharma, those who live that life can draw honey from a weed. He says. From a weed you can extract honey. You need wisdom for that. And how do you get that wisdom, sir? He says, only through this. Seek that wisdom first. Seek that knowledge first. That's why it is called as Vedanta. It is referred as Vedanta, highest knowledge. Why do you call this as highest knowledge? Why this is the best knowledge? This is the basic question. Why do you call it that? See, the person who is stuck in the jungle, for him highest knowledge is what? How to get out of the jungle. That is his knowledge. That's what he needs. Now each one has a need like that. Today, what is the highest demand for all of us? If someone were to say, I have found a cure for corona, straight away I may get Nobel Prize also for that. Greatest discovery. So what is the desperate one? Now in this scenario, how can you say Vedanta is highest knowledge? Depends on each one. No. That's why we pay a lot of attention to these ideas. You can't just hear once and understand. You have to go on again and again and again and again. You have to keep on repeating. Not different things. The same thing you got to repeat again and again. If at all there is some interest in learning, the interest is only to learn different things. I buy this book, read that book and throw that book. Next book, I read, throw. Next book I pick up, read and throw. Next book I pick up, read and throw. Or attend this lecture and go. Because one person was contacted by these people. They said, I didn't see you in bhajagovindam class. I have already heard bhajagovindam, he says. Now what do you do? So what we have to do? Now Ishwaran has to take one. Suppose suddenly if I announce that I am going to take Yoga Vasishta. Wow. The problem is, it's a small minority who says, I want to learn, but I want to learn different. Now that is not learning, please. Wisdom is not that. That will not help you. You can learn. I'm not saying you should not. You can learn that, but will it help you? It will not help. The knowledge, same thing, again and again and again. That's what he says. Varam varam. Manasi vichintaya varam varam. Think on this, man, again and again and again. On the same thing. Go back to that same idea. Go back to that same idea. So many people get annoyed with us when we discuss about mind and intellect. I say mind and intellect, people get annoyed. You fellows don't talk anything other than mind and intellect, mind and intellect, mind and intellect. See, it's not easy to understand that. I can sympathize with all of you. See, some of you may be watching this class through your iPhone. Some of you may be using your iPad. I mean, iPhone in the sense some mobile phone, Android or Apple, I don't care, whatever, mobile phone. Some of you may be watching it through iPad, Samsung Galaxy. Another person may be using computer. Another person is using a laptop. Laptop is different. Phone is different. iPad is different. All these are all different things. The programs that is functioning behind those gadgets are all different, right? But all the computer programs in the world understands only one thing. What is it, sir? 0 and 1. That's all. All computers. A computer with which you are able to manipulate the satellites, which is thousands of miles, lakhs of miles away from you. You are managing that with what? Same computer. What does that computer understand? That computer understands only one thing. What? 0, 1. 0, 1, 0, 1. You can say this is iPhone, you can say this is computer, you can say this is different, that is different, this is a simple calculation, that's a highly complicated calculations. You can say all those things, but everything that computer understands as only 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. There is nothing beyond these two. Similarly, in life, there are only two things. What's that? Mind, intellect. That's it. There is nothing beyond these two. You see, now the one who understands this mind and intellect will be able to understand all the systems in the world. Doesn't make any difference. But if you are used to your mobile, you think mobile alone is working. That's it. You can't understand more than that. Try, transaction wise. That's why many a times when you are listening to the class, I tell people, beware. Every class, don't try to apply to yourself and ask, okay, from today's class, what did I learn? How can I apply in my life? What did I learn? How can I apply? What did I learn? How can I apply? What did I learn? How can I apply? Which means what you are doing is you are wanting a utility for this class. If two classes are not able to convert anything, that's why they say ideal, beautiful teaching class means what? Speaking, public speaking. What you should do, sir? End of the lecture, the person is supposed to summarize the whole thing in capsule so that you can carry. That's what I did last two classes. I wanted to say this first, but I thought, okay, first I will do that and then say. And suddenly what? Wow, today's class was excellent. Today's class was excellent. So nice, so nice. So many people appreciated the class and sent a message. Some of them appreciate, they don't send a message. That's a different thing. I'm not worried about the messages. But you are able to relate to those things. Suppose if I don't say any of those things, no summary, no, central idea been given. So what are you supposed to do with it? If I am not saying any of those things, what happens to you in the class? You feel, what is this? Yeah, he's just talking for 1 hour. He is talking. So this is called mind. Remember this. You are not listening through your intellect. You are listening through your mind only. What is mind? Mind means utilitarian. What is the use of it? Everything the mind will ask this question of what, sir? What is the use of this knowledge to me? What is the use of this? What is the use of this? Wherever that utility comes into picture, understand that's mind, and mind will constantly be seeking utility. Proof I want first. Give me the proof. What is the use of this knowledge? That's why today slowly students are getting so lost in terms of studying. Why should we study mathematics? Sir, integration, differentiation, vectors, have you ever used in your life? Vectors. Then why do you have to study vectors? So we say what? So everything we are going to be learning in life, we have to establish first thing what? What is the utility of it? Always utility means what? Material utility. That's it. Utility means what? What's the use of this knowledge? You say, may sound like a very strong word, but it's a very, very wrong thing to do. I'm really tempted to say, but I'm just refraining. You know, it's a very wrong thing to do. To go to knowledge for utility, and the whole world is moving in the direction of what? Always we should be gaining knowledge for the utility of it. Utility of it. This utility seeking mind will ask, okay, what is the use of gaining enlightenment? Also, you will ask. If I tell you with Vedanta what you will understand, you will get enlightenment. You will ask, okay, with enlightenment, what will happen? And we think what? Enlightened masters means what they have to do. We have our own definitions of enlightened people. Enlightenment means what? Some miracle. They'll be performing miracles. And it's madness, I tell you. You know, we believe enlightenment means what? Enlightened masters means they should be performing miracles. You know, he should touch. That's what they do, no? Christ. Christ is valued for what? Like all you people know about Ramana Maharishi, no? I've heard about Ramana Maharishi. Ask anybody about Ramana Maharishi, all of them will say Ramana Maharishi had surgery, you know, without taking anesthesia. You know that? Oh, wow, great. But what they don't report to you is, after that he had about 3-4 surgeries with anesthesia. This happened much before. Later on, oh, now his enlightenment is gone, is it? Earlier he was enlightened. Now he is not enlightened. Why? Because he underwent surgery with anesthesia. So now that he has taken anesthesia, he is no longer a Mahatma. Now, this is called wisdom. What? On what basis? What are you doing? What are you pursuing? Why you are doing whatever you are doing? That inquiry, the capacity to pause and inquire. What is this? What am I doing? In what way what I am doing is connected to what I want in life? Is there any connection? I want enjoyment from the world. I want to acquire so many things in the world. I had acquired. What had happened? You did acquire, no? You did enjoy, no? What happened to all that enjoyment now? When you are looking back to those enjoyments today, that enjoyment appears as what to you now? It's over. That's it. Now don't talk about all that today, Ishwaran. Talk about, there was enjoyment, no, once. You had one birthday party. You had that joy. We went all out. We had a gala time, I tell you. Yes, you had that. And then what happened to that joy now? Don't talk about that, Ishwaran. Talk about the current problem. That's why always people talk about current affairs. You see, newspapers. That is why yesterday's newspaper you will never read today. Why? Current affairs. But what involvement you have to read that newspaper? Last year on the same day something happened. You know that? Today. A thing became such a huge thing. Internationally. One question. All the Tamil audience will understand that the moment I say that. Will that contractor Nesamani come back from hospital or not? It's actually a character in a movie which got released 15 years back. Huh? 15 years back, one fellow, just for the heck of it, he created a Twitter stating one contractor, the hammer fell on his head and he went unconscious. Will he regain his conscious or not? And it became such a big thing in the world. What everybody started talking about it. That happened today, last year, 2019, June 1st, 2019. This was a news. What is it, sir? Everywhere. Will Nesamani, contractor Nesamani. What happened to contractor Nesamani? I got that message. Contractor Nesamani. What happened to him? Do you know? I didn't connect to that, first. So what Nesamani? Why are you sending it to me? As though, I don't think he's attending my class also, is it? Why should I talk about him? What is his? He said, no, there is no connection. Current affairs. Today's news. And people start talking about all that. You see, huge issue. So 2G spectrum, have you ever heard in the last 6 months? Any one of you? I didn't hear. Coal? No. Few months back we had, Rafael. Everybody was talking about Rafael. And anyone and everyone was giving opinion. Everybody. I don't think we should have done. That's not what we should have done. That's what we should have done. I said, what do you know about defense? This is called moha, called delusion. Delusion means what? Please understand delusion, the meaning of it. Definition of delusion is this: giving opinion in the field where you know nothing of the field. You don't know anything in that field. This is why we should not give opinions. Anytime a person speaks, gives opinions different from facts of life, truth of life. They whom truth and wisdom lead. What is truth and wisdom, sir? This is called truth and wisdom. Truth is to understand there is a difference between fact and opinion, and you must have the wisdom not to voice your opinions. Refrain from that. Capacity, develop that, he says. That you seek, man. Instead of seeking that, you are sitting and memorizing the Panini Sutra. See, Panini Sutra in his period, okay, during Shankara's time. Now today, none of you practice Panini Sutra. Today, what are you trying to memorize? Stock market. Today, your problem will be what? Stock market. Finished. During Shankara's time, there is no stock market. Therefore, he did not talk about stock market. In his period, only Panini Sutra existed, so he gave that example. Today, Panini Sutra you are not doing. Therefore, you will say what? Sappa, we are not doing all those things. Therefore, we are better. You are worse than them actually. What's that? You are stuck with stock market. You are involved with the worldly transactions, secular activities. Drop that. Start seeking the higher. Bhajagovindam. Beautiful. The title itself, is so inspiring. Even though the text name is not that, the first verse is superb. It is bhajagovindam. Enough. The rest of your life is settled. You just have to say bhajagovindam. Problem solved. I don't think immediately, some mystical is there about Govinda. Govinda will come and say something. Suddenly one day Krishna will come. This one will come back. That wrong concepts, confused ideas, muddled things, all that. He says refrain from those things. How do you operate? Start looking at the ground realities of life. The ground reality is what? So long as you have the capacity to contribute, people will value you. You lose that capacity, as a result of which you are not able to contribute today. Don't say, in the past I had contributed. This is what we call as a generation gap. See, that is why grandchild never gets inspired looking at the grandfather. The father gets inspired, grandfather. But the grandchild never gets inspired looking at the grandfather or grandmother. Why? In fact, they look more. Grandmother looks better for them. Why? Contributing. What is the contribution of grandmother? All the couples, who live abroad, the moment they get a child, who do they call? Father or mother? They'll say, let mother come. If only one can travel, they'll say, mother come. Father, you stay back. Why? Because mother is a value addition. Father is a liability. Because the daughter-in-law has to prepare breakfast, lunch, dinner and keep it in the fridge before she goes to office. There. And come back in the evening, and this fellow wouldn't have even washed the plates. He has to come back and put all the things in the dishwasher, wash, settle everything. Next day, again, what he has to do? Prepare. If this mother-in-law comes, what happens? He will take care of the child, she takes care of the house, she takes care of so many things. Even shopping, she goes and learns. They learn faster. The grandmothers, when they go abroad, they learn faster how to live in that country, better than grandfathers. She knows. And she gets friends with neighbors. Suddenly she says, they are all coming today to home. Why? She says, we are doing one puja at the house. She goes and invites all those people come. They come and they say, we have never been. She introduces that neighbors to this lady. Value addition. Respected. Value addition in the sense, don't say, in the past I have done. Right now you should have value, you should be value adding. So the contribution of yours has to be what? Till the last minute of your life. That moment you become a liability, just a question of time. Slowly people will withdraw from you. May not happen on the very first day. It's a slow withdrawal. That's all. Now you can't blame them for that, he says. Don't say, they're all bad people. It's not because of that. And then immediately the fellow says, my son, daughter-in-law and all may be like that, but not my wife. My wife loves me. See what happens the moment you die. Leave with the body of the man and say, all of us will come back tomorrow. You just be there. She says, hey, don't leave me alone, she says. Don't leave me with the body alone. Why? Suppose if he comes back, that's the fear now. Suppose the fellow comes back, what to do? That's why they don't stay in the same room, They get scared to live in the same room, same house, same place. Why? This attachment to wife, attachment to the retinue, the relatives, people around you, and your attachment to your wife is so much so. What you need to understand, this is not going to be, this is not going to help you. Any relationship that will have an end causes problem. Therefore, what you have to do, develop a relationship where there will never be an end to it. What is the relationship? There is only one relationship where there is no end at all. There is no ending for it. It is a continuous one. Keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. But all of us don't want that sort of a thing. We all want what? Who do you trust? Who do you value? In the Christian, faith, all this, disciples ran away. The moment Christ was caught, they deserted Christ. They denied him. And the Last Supper, very interesting scene. There are a couple of scenes in, Bible, beautiful scenes. One is the Last Supper. That Last Supper, all these fellows have that ego. I am very close to Christ more than all you people. And Peter is the one who is considered to be the most, very close disciple of Christ. And the Peter had that arrogance. So he goes and washes the feet of Christ. The Christ told him, hey, you will be the first one to deny me. And he denied him thrice, as told by Christ. By next morning, he says, you will deny me thrice. And when Christ passed away, no disciples were around him. Who was standing, sir? Only that lady was standing. Of course, mother was there. Mary, no option. She has to be there. Right. Who's there, sir, apart from that? Only that lady, Mary Magdalene. And Christ's body was taken and they put it in the tomb. They closed the boulder and all those things. After 3 days, Christ said, I will reappear. Who saw Christ first? Not Peter. Who saw? Mary Magdalene saw. And Mary Magdalene, and Christ told her, you go and tell the disciples, gather those people, bring them. I want to meet those guys. She goes to those people, to the disciples, she goes and says, Christ has reappeared. He has come back. And they say, they tell, it's recorded in the gospel. I'm not saying please. It is there. It is hallucination, they say. You are hallucinating. He says, no, I saw. He has called you. And somehow she convinces those fellows to come. And when they come to that tomb, the thing was empty. Nobody was there. They look at her. Again they say that. Hallucination. You see, he's not here. That means what? What you saw is hallucination. You're just hallucinating. Obviously, Christ must be hiding somewhere. This is my understanding. Okay, he must be wanting to teach these fellows. So he must be hiding behind a tree. And suddenly he comes out. He comes out. And even then, Peter doesn't believe. Peter says, what? I don't believe you. How am I to know that you are Christ? He says, okay, come and touch me and see. And you go and touch. Now my question is, who is a greater disciple? Peter or Mary Magdalene? In the gates of heaven, who is standing? Peter is standing. Not Mary Magdalene. According to gospel. According to Christian faith, who's standing in the gates of heaven? Peter standing in the gates of heaven. Receiving people. So you have to get an entry pass. Entry pass will be given by whom? Peter. Peter will give the entry pass, then you can enter into the heavens and meet Christ. Gospel you are believing who? Whose gospel you should listen to? Peter's version of Christ or Magdalene's version of Christ? Another difference. With who you relate. You see, you relate with whom? You relate to which dimension of a master? You relate to which dimension of a personality? That's why we say, Sai Baba is such as, popular. Ramatirtha is not even heard. Nobody knows about Ram Tirtha. If at all some of you say Ram Tirtha is great because of we constantly brainwashed you to believe. You see, I keep on talking about the greatness of Ram Tirtha. Therefore, when you read Ram Tirtha looks something great. I have actually tried. I gave that one book to one of my cousin. I said, she was asking me, I want to read some good book. Can you recommend something? I gave her this book. I didn't give Vedanta treatise. I gave her this book. I said, Ram Tirtha, you read. She read. Yeah, it's okay, but not so good. You have any other book, she says. If you don't know who that person is, you can't appreciate. Why? We all appreciate Vivekananda, not Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. If at all you talk about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, it is because of Vivekananda. You get impressed with Vivekananda, not with Ramakrishna. Okay, what is great about Vivekananda? You know what Vivekananda? He just takes one book, flips, understands everything. Is this enlightenment? Which aspect of God you relate to? You relate to God on what basis? You relate to God on the basis of what? Miracle. Why do you want that? Remember, the first sign of a master, an enlightened master. How do you know an enlightened master? There are certain indications. First sign of enlightened master, I say, he will not be recognized by his generation. Wherever there is a crowd, you can be 99.9% correct. He is not an enlightened master, full stop. You can never, crowd can never gather around an enlightened master. It is not possible. An enlightened master means a master who will never give you to believe there is something mystical about it. Never give you to believe. If a fellow says for a darshan, 200% guaranteed, he is not enlightened. What is the concept of the darshan? Okay, you go, see him, come back, and then, so what? You go and meet a Mahatma, you have seen that Mahatma, after that what? You come back, no. What is going to happen to you? In what way he has served you? Has he served you in any way? No connection. You see that? Total mess we have. Wrong concepts. Completely, lost ideas. Says, how do you relate? What sort of relationships that you entertain with world, with people around you? Who do you value? Whoever you value, for what you value that person? He speaks so well. Is this enlightenment? So what? He talks well. Who do you call as a person who talks well? Whoever mirrors your beliefs. Whoever speaks to your advantage. Whoever presents ideas, which is what you believe already. So what are you going to do? Great. On what basis? Entertain a relationship is what he is giving now. And there is beautiful verse, the next one. is a classic verse he gives. And of course, again, very, very popular verse. This verse 7, half quoted. Everybody quotes this verse 7. Balastavat kridasakta, tarunastavat tarunisakta, vriddhastavat chintasakta, parame brahmani kopina sakta. Sort of a question he asks here. Balastavat kridasakta. So long as childhood lasts, one is attached to play. Balastavat kridasakta. Tarunastavat tarunisakta. One is attached to damsel. So long as youthhood lasts, attached to damsel. Taruni is a damsel. Vriddhastava chintasakta is a beautiful one. So long as old age lasts, one is attached to worry. Then poses a beautiful question. Parame brahmani kopina sakta. Who is ever attached to the supreme reality? Parame brahman, param brahman. To that supreme brahman, to that reality. Who is attached to that reality? Nobody is attached to that reality. What he is doing here? He is just ripping open and explaining what is happening in everyone's life. What is happening to everybody? Yes, there is no exception here. To everyone, this is what is happening. What is it, sir? When you are a child, you are totally lost. You are totally involved. Attached to means you are totally involved in that. Involved in play, toys, playthings. That's about it. And when a person becomes youth, he is totally involved with enjoyment. When he becomes old, totally lost in worries. Old man, you see, always worried. If a person were to come little late, finished. We have old man in the house. The grandfather will be walking up and down. Hey, what happened? 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 Constantly keep on asking the question. What happened? What happened? Worried. Worried about this, worried about that, worried about everything. That's why you will never see, the grandson will never take in the bike. The grandson will never take grandfather in bike. Why? As soon as the my love sits behind, he will not sit quiet. Hey, lorry, 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 he will say. Truck, 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 he will say. Truck is coming in the opposite, another lane, opposite direction, it is going somewhere else. And suddenly he will say, yeah, red signal, red signal, red signal. Torture, the fellows. Some of them do that actually, driver. It actually happened to one fellow in South India. One, hilarious that fellow. He's a great comedian. This man, Kalaivanar. Kalaivanar. His sense of humor is superb in life itself, not in this on screen. Life itself, his sense of humor. They really appreciate this guy. Whenever he travels, he will sit behind. He will never sit in the front. He will sit behind and constantly keep telling the driver, hey, careful, take left, take right, go straight, this, that, all that. Once what happened was, the driver, the car met with an accident. Kalaivanar got so annoyed. He is about to shout at the driver. He said, you idiot, did you? He said, sir, every time you tell me, this time you didn't tell me to apply brake. That's why I didn't apply brake. So it's your mistake, he says. Kalaivanar was laughing, he says. He was really appreciating the driver's, sense of humor. When his car met with the accident, okay, not somebody's car. His car went to the, that is called, sense of humor, I say. Somebody's car you can laugh, there's no problem. If your car means finished. Sir, every time you tell no. This time you didn't tell, so I thought there is no problem, so I drove. I was so worried about everything. You are worried. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Lockdown problem. Now lockdown open problem. As though only Corona is causing a problem to you today. I asked those fellows, okay, in January were you happy? In January you are worried about something else. You say what? This is my problem, that's my problem, all those things. Now what happened to all those worries? You move only, your life is moving from what, sir? Moving from one worry to another worry. One problem to another problem. Another problem to another problem. Another problem to another problem. And every time you feel the current problem to be the biggest problem. There cannot be. All of you, if any one of you would have been thinking, just think in January, you thought what? Cannot be anything worse than this. Right now we think what? World is going through something which has never, as though you genuinely believe nothing worse than this can happen. You see, right now our vision itself is what? You need something or the other to worry. Remember, that is what samsara is all about. That is what mind is all about. That's what life is all about. What is it, sir? Constant worry. Ask me, why are you talking about worry only, sir? Because lot of senior citizens in the class. If I take same bhajagovindam for youth class, means I will talk about youth. Tarunastava Taruni Sakta. Now, what is the point of talking to you about Tarunastava Taruni Sakta? There's no connection to you. Balastava and all, there's no meaning to you. Why? You forgot that. It's not even in your memory. Today, at least youthhood, you will have some vague memory. Childhood and all is completely forgotten for you. So, what is the point in talking about those points? Childhood, totally lost. You see, today the situation is even more grave now. See, at least in the previous generation, could force the child to do something. At least the previous generation, at least I still remember, in my grandmother and all, if we don't do the Sandhya Vandanam, morning or the evening, no dinner. Dinner will not be served. Doesn't matter what you do. Full stop. That's the rule. Every Saturday we have to sit and chant Vishnu Sahasranamam. If you don't chant Vishnu Sahasranamam on Saturday, means you are finished. They force actually. In the current generation, we can't even force these kids now. None of us force, and we can't force also. We don't want to force, and we cannot force also. And therefore, the kids never they get an opportunity even to understand what it is to pray. They don't even know what it is to pray. And we have a very grand idea. What is it? See, it should be out of choice, you see. Then I tell them, then why did you put them to school? 2.5-year-old child, did he come and ask you, put me in school? You force the child to go to school? No. In life, as though we all talk today, this is what I call as, I have yet to meet one human being who is not knowledgeable, not deluded. Total delusion. This is ignorance also, I will say, okay. Delusion is the height of it. What is it? See, it should come from within. All philosophy they talk. So it's a great value. What should come from within? So education also should come from within. So at what age the child will understand the value of education? I ask you one question. At what age? I repeat my question. I'm not going to give answer, okay? I'll just throw the question and leave it to you people to find the answer and let me know. Okay. Question is this. Question to all the 68 people, because there are total 69 now, including me. There are 68. I ask this question to you. At what age you have understood the value of money? Question 1. Question 2. At what age you have understood the value of time? Two things you transact with. I'm sure all of you will say, I don't think any one of you have a doubt about, sir, what is the value of that? I don't know, and all you will not say. All of you will say, what, sir? I have a great value for money and value for time. Okay. At what age you understood that? You have to think. Think carefully. What age you got it? What time you realized the value of money, the value of time? You will understand a gap there. Don't say, yesterday I realized this, sir. Don't say, even now I have not realized. I will say you are honest at least. Then that's what Shankara is saying here. Who understands the value of reality is what he's saying. Who's attached to? See, you will get attached to what? See, you understand the value of money, therefore you get attached to money. You understand the value of education, therefore you get attached to education. You understand the value of time, therefore you get attached to time. You understand the value of car, therefore you get attached to car. You understand the value of a person, therefore you get attached to that person. Right? Now Shankara says, nobody is attached to supreme reality. Means what? Means nobody understands the value of truth, reality. Nobody understands the value of this knowledge. You see, that's what he's saying. Now, education, we say, at least the previous generation do that. Now, current generation don't even do that actually. So there is no direct value. And suddenly at this age, we say what? A fellow comes to the teenage and then starts asking various questions, and then we say what? We don't know how to answer those questions. We don't know what to do with those people. Can you do something? I say, wherever I go, they say this. Do you teach Bhagavad Gita to kids as though you have read already? As though you have understood. Only thing is what? See, all of us believe what? See, I will teach Bhagavad Gita to my son. That's not a problem is what? He will not listen. That's why your child listens to the neighboring uncle and neighboring aunt, not to you. Similarly, your child's friends will listen to you, not your son. Your son's friends will look up to you and say, great you are, but not your son and your daughter. Why? Why that's a scenario? Why this is, and we wonder why this is the case, what is happening? You should know what thing to be done at what stage. You should learn to give the choice to the person after you train them. 2.5-year-old fellow, people sit and start talking logic to them, reasoning. They do, analysis with these people. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should be like this, you should be like that. They sit and reason out. Reasoning goes on. Now, 2.5 years is not qualified for reasoning. They are qualified only for instruction. And you don't know how to give instructions. Give instructions, but that instructions should be given how, sir? Objectively. You don't understand that at all actually. Therefore, what is happening? Either no instructions, or you get involved and give instructions, which is where you can't start enforcing things on them, forcing your ideas on them. So therefore, what people have started doing, previous generation forced, current generation swings to the opposite extreme. What is it, sir? No instructions, nothing. Let them decide whatever they want to do. Vagabond. They will not know how to live life. It is not possible. Therefore, how do you do this, sir? There is a time for people to gain this knowledge, he says. He does a genuine analysis. Shankara is not, speaking. He speaks very sincerely. He says, look at your own life. There are 3 phases of your life. One phase is childhood, totally occupied with toys. Youthhood, totally occupied with enjoyment. Acquisition and enjoyment, understood. And then old age. You are totally occupied with your worries and anxiety. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? What will happen to my child? What will happen to my one? You know this. One family in Bengal had a fascinating practice. Every birthday, they will write about every family member. This lady's 80th birthday, she has to write a letter and give. Right? She wrote a letter stating, I am so worried about this. I don't have any problem. All these people I know, they get settled in life. This person will get settled. This person will get settled. Everybody settled. Only this grandson of mine, I am so worried about. You know who that fellow? Rabindranath Tagore. We don't know the grandmother's name. We don't know his father's name. Don't know uncle's name, brother's name, sister's name. Nothing we know. But we know only this one man's name. But that lady said what? I am so worried about this boy. Why? She is worried about whom? She is worried about Rabindranath Tagore. Now what to tell her? Worried. Constantly you are worried about something or the other. See, you have enough things to do. Then he says, there is a time. Worried. You are worried means what? You are not worried that, what will happen to the world. It's not that you are suddenly in the midnight you wake up. Oh my God, so many people are stranded on the streets. What they will do? Let us go and check. Like I read in the papers, one girl cycled her father 1,200 kilometers. Took her father on a bicycle. I read that. First thing occurred to my mind is 1,500 kilometers that girl is cycling. Isn't it no one saw that on the road? Are we following lockdown to such an extent? We don't even look out the window. Are you see? If you are worried, be worried like that. That's a legitimate. If at all you worry only about what? Corona has come to India. India, so much of worry. And then you say what? Thank God, Karnataka is only in the East Coast. Karnataka is not having. In Karnataka also what? Bangalore is not having. In Bangalore also, where, sir? In my area, Kempapura, no problem. Only Basavangudi has. Okay. Thank God I shifted from Basavangudi from now. I knew this will happen 7 years back. 7 years back, I had the long sight to see. That's why I left Basavangudi 7 years back. In Kempapura, if a fellow gets corona, means finished. People are getting scared to talk to them over Skype. You know that? Over Skype, they are getting scared to talk to them. Who? Family members. Their own family members are getting scared to talk to those people. I said, madness is called worried. I am worried. You should be worried. Worried about whom? Worried about whom? You say that worry means you can think of only what? People who have to suffer like anything. I say worry also shows what to you? Sir, you see a person has a multiple fracture in the hospital. What is that sympathy to that person vis-a-vis someone who is mentally disturbed, depressed? To who you can see, with whom your sympathies go first? Multiple fracture only. If a person comes and tells you, I am so sad, I am so depressed, many of you don't even know how to react to that. You say what? What are you worried about? What's your problem here? The way you ask itself is very different. Whereas, if a person were to come and tell you, I have a headache, the concern with which you ask for the headache is not the same concern with which when someone comes and says, I'm feeling so disturbed. That is why none of us speak about it. Even though you are so disturbed, you don't talk about it to another person. Why? That's why we have created a separate, profession around it. What is it, sir? Called a psychotherapy. Why? That's what, somebody, when I was at Ananda, they asked me, in India, I don't see much. I said, there's no big market for India. Psychotherapy doesn't have a big market in India. That's a precise reason why I studied that. I said, there's no market. I studied Vedanta, which has absolutely no market anywhere in the world. Second one for which there is no market is this one, I said. Why? In India, we don't have the problem. Why? We have enough people to talk. Every family had at least about 5-6 people. If not this person, that person. If not that person, this person. If not that person, this. Someone or the other was always around us to express. Now it's increasing. Why? House is big nowadays. House and all is very, very big houses we have. But who is there inside? Only servants are there. I say, or dogs. There's a house I know where they have 3 dogs and 2 men in the house. There are 2 people in the house and they have 3 dogs. And the servants are there serving whom now? The servants in the house are serving who? The dogs. I don't know who to sympathize now. The servants to be sympathized or the people to be sympathized? What is going on? You are worried. Worried about what? You are only worried about what is going to happen to me and what is going to happen to my family members. Beyond me and my family members, you are not worried. Remember that. Worried means what, sir? You should not be able to sleep because of that. That's called worry. Now think about yourself. How many days you have spent in your life? Sir, yesterday I could not sleep because I saw in the papers that in a year there are about so many deaths happening because of lack of sanitation. I couldn't sleep. Middle of the night, I woke up. Suddenly I wake up from the sleep. That's called worried. Not on your dining table you discuss. Not in your boardroom you sit and analyze statistics. Oh, now NGO. You will create an NGO and start doing something. That's a boardroom analysis for you. Are you worried in the sense, if at all you are worried, it should disturb you. It should agitate you. I'm not able to see when I'm having this Alfonso mango with ice cream. It should agitate me. I should not be able to cherish it. That's called worried. Is any one of you claim to be worried? Hats off to you. I'll do a Sashtanga Namaskara to you for that. That's not our case. Our case is what? We are also worried. Worried about what? My family. I have a family. What is going to happen to my family and my family members? Whatever be the family members, I don't care. Whatever be the number. The number can be 10, the number can be 20, the number can be 50. But that 50 numbers means what? That 50 should be my family. Only then that 50. Suppose if that number comes to only 3, it's only 3. Parame Brahmani Gopina Satta. Beautiful verse. Remember the question. Don't forget the quick question. I've given you 2 questions. At what age did you realize the value of money? At what age you realized the value of time? If at all you had realized the value of it. If you want, you can add this also, education. I'm not adding that to you because I don't know. That's why I'm not adding that to you. But these 2 things, everybody says. I say, at what age did you realize the value of money? At what age you realize the value of time? Then ask this question to yourself. Who is ever thinking of the self? Where is a time for you to think about all this? Nobody is worried about it, he says. Thank you.